So, have you seen the thing? So, have you seen the thing about protein? Have you watched it? No. Okay. Well, if you haven't, give it a wee watch. It's not actually that bad, if I'm honest. If I do say so myself, it's only about 3 minutes of your life. But now we're going to look at carbohydrates. So, carbohydrates are demonized, straight up demonized. Low carb this, low carb that, all that sort of thing. And then people look at their added sugars, stuff like that. Sugar is a carbohydrate, just so you know. So, carbohydrates, well, really they should build up 40 to 50% of your diet, generally speaking, for the normal person. Obviously, everyone's different. However, they can then further be split up into complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates. Now, a complex carbohydrate takes longer to digest, so quite often, if you're looking for like weight loss, that sort of thing, I would tend to lean that way. If you're looking for anything really, I tend to lean that way because it takes more energy to burn it, to digest it, because it needs longer digestion. So things like potatoes, brown rice, that sort of thing, those natural grains, stuff like that, that take, it's going to give you more energy for longer. And also it will have a low GI, which is low glycemic index. So it's great if you are, for example, I don't know, I wouldn't do it, but you're going for a 10k run. You want something like that that's going to give you the energy throughout it. And then you've got your simple carbohydrates. Now, your simple carbohydrates, I'll use an example. An on-branded Planet chocolate bar. Yeah, perfect example, that one. So that's just straight up sugar. It's digested very quickly, gets straight into the bloodstream. So that's quite often when you have a chocolate bar, you'll feel that little initial kick of energy because it's straight into the bloodstream. However, with carbohydrates as well, when you're looking at those simple carbohydrates, yeah, the ones that are easy digested, they have a high glycemic index as well. When it comes to those, they can actually lead to the weight gain, more so the complex. Although if you have loads, they both will. But your simple ones, I tend to view them more as your process. So your breads, white rice, chocolate, sweets, biscuits, all that sort of stuff that tastes really, really good and is really enjoyable, highly palatable. But if you have too much of it, it'll make you fat. Now, all jokes aside though, because if you think about it, you're getting that spike in energy. And if you don't use all that energy, what's going to happen to it? Your body's going to store it because your body is like a bank. And that's when we talk about calories, which I'll talk about in the next one. Calorie deficit, surplus, and how it works. But your body's a bank, so it likes to save things and spend them. But if it's got more, it'll happily save it. And that's what will happen with those simple sugars, that sort of thing. It likes to hold on to them. And then your complex ones, that's why I prefer them if you're designing a diet, that sort of thing, because you'll use them throughout the day. And yes, so like I said, it should be 40 to 50% of your diet should be carbohydrates. Again, leaning towards the complex ones. So like your oats in the morning. Oats in the morning, game changer. Big bowl of porridge, love it. I throw some berries in there as well, which that would be more going down your simple side because they'll give you that straight kick of sugar. But yeah, so I'll talk probably more in depth about that. I'm getting all fidgety here. I'll probably talk more in depth about that in another one. Actually, I'll use my diet for as an example. So I'm on about 2,800 calories at the moment. So 1,400 of that will be my carbohydrates. Yeah. And then if I'm dividing that by 4, because 1 gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories. So that 1,400 goes 305, maybe? No. 325. Yes. 325. So that's how much carbs I will eat a day. Which isn't that, it's actually quite a bit when you think about it, because that's what I'll have 300 grams of white potato with my din-dins. 70 grams of dry basmati rice, obviously cooked, but I weigh the dry weight, and I will have about 80 to 100 grams of oats in the morning. So it's pretty sweet, and a few bagel thins in there as well. But yeah, so that is that. And if you have any questions, pop me a message. Brilliant.